No matter where you live, you probably noticed that 2023 was hot. In fact, the summer was the hottest on record. And as we continue to burn fossil fuels, the science says our planet will continue to get hotter. So how do we keep the cities we live in cool? Well, there are some real-life solutions here and now. I'm Carl Nasman, and this is Future Earth. Welcome to the new series, Shining a Light. Coming up this week, we meet the volunteers working to keep the city of Atlanta cool and keep these trees from disappearing. The simple solutions that are already making a difference, one coat at a time. How we can protect our bodies from the effects of extreme heat, plus the people truly in the hot seat, chief heat officers preparing cities for a hotter future. We start with those record-breaking temperatures of 2023 trees. It's an old idea, finding a new urgency, as I found out recently in the city of Atlanta.
Record-breaking heat wave in the east from Texas.
Many of our cities simply aren't built for the extreme temperatures being fueled by climate change.
Weather-wise and weather disaster-wise, we are better off for all of the trees we have.
Trees are cheap, easy, and effective, lowering temperatures by around 10 degrees Fahrenheit compared to city streets without them. The downtown district of Atlanta has the lowest tree canopy cover of any area, just 3% compared to nearly 50% for the rest of the city. Many of the world's cities will need to adapt to rising temperatures, and sometimes that challenge is so vast you can see it from space. I spoke with Jane Gilbert about how she handles the hot seat as the chief heat officer in Miami-Dade County. I think that some people might be asking themselves, look, Miami-Dade County, home of South Beach, you're accustomed to heat. Why does Miami-Dade County even need a chief heat officer?
We had seniors ending up in our emergency rooms because they were waiting at a bus stop too long. So extreme heat is nationwide the #1 weather-related killer, climate-related killer, and it is also the same in Miami-Dade County.
And looking ahead, as climate change is likely to rise temperatures even further, to see more heat waves, longer lasting, what would be one piece of advice you might give to a city that isn't yet on the front lines of climate change? How should they be preparing? As a chief heat officer, what gives you hope looking towards the future? And it's not just cities with chief heat officers. There's now the world's first global chief heat officer. You've said before that the way cities are built are death traps for people. Just help us understand that. What do you mean by that?
It's a little dramatic, but basically what I was trying to express is that our cities are really not made for the kind of climate conditions that we are and we will be facing in the future, especially in relation to extreme heat. So, you can add colors to that, yellows and oranges and reds, and you can also name heat waves.
Well, heat isn't just about discomfort. It's also a matter of health and preventing deaths. So we know that extreme heat can kill, but what actually happens to our bodies? Our medical editor, Fergus Walsh, visited the heat chamber at St. Mary's University in London.
It's been used by sporting greats like Andy Murray and Max Verstappen. But even an amateur like me can show how heat affects our physiology.
It's not just about what the thermometer says. There's another element that we have to think about here, and that's how does it actually feel to your body? That's something that's called the heat index, which my colleague Nomia Iqbal explains.
It's a combination of air temperature and relative humidity and considers both meteorology and biology because it measures the weather's effect on the body. Why is that important? Because while the temperature can read 90 degrees Fahrenheit on a thermostat, humidity can make it feel an extra 10 to 15 degrees hotter. So 90 Fahrenheit or 32 Celsius is actually 105 Fahrenheit or 40 Celsius.
Well, there's already some exciting solutions being rolled out in the US and around the globe, and they don't have to be expensive either, like painting roofs with ultra-white UV paint. Our science correspondent Victoria Gill found out more about it.
Cool, heat-reflecting white roofs are already an urban climate solution that's been embraced in cities around the world. In New York, more than 10 million square feet of roofs have been coated with white heat-reflecting paint. But these scientists say their ultra-white paint could make those roofs even cooler. While the whitest currently available paints reflect between 80 and 90% of sunlight, these researchers say theirs reflects more than 98%.
In recent years, we've seen white paint splashed across the roofs of cities around the world. And in India, a nonprofit has been helping women paint their homes and build heat resistance.
Before, we'd burn if we walked barefoot. You couldn't stand here without slippers.
The charity has helped paint the roofs of 5,000 homes. Shakila's neighbors say they're interested too. Her grandson Mohammed is one happy customer.
It used to be so hot that we could not stay indoors for a stretch of 5 minutes. But now it's not the case. It's much cooler inside. Today, this little boy has drifted off.
The Mahila Housing Trust has been working in informal settlements in India for 28 years and has installed 30,000 cool roofs in 9 different states. I caught up with their program manager, Bhavna Maharia. Of course, painting the world's roofs white won't solve the climate crisis on its own, but it shows how small and simple solutions could be one of the many tools in our arsenal to help reduce emissions and tackle rising heat without relying on air conditioning. With our cities now facing so many climate challenges, urban experts are finding new, innovative ways of transforming our public spaces.
In the last 10 years, we've had a much larger expansion of the installation of these projects, and we are seeing the benefits. We're seeing larger amount of tree canopy, shading streets, reducing your heat island effect there. It is a worthy investment, even if it looks like it's expensive or challenging in the front end. Green roofs are another option. People put vegetated roofing systems on their homes or commercial buildings, and essentially they cool the building itself off, and it's engineered to absorb stormwater, rainwater that comes from the sky. The more intense, the cooler it tends to be because you've got more vegetation. But the different studies have shown a reduction in adjacent temperature.
Our concrete jungles still have a long way to go, but with innovations and people like our chief heat officers, there's certainly cause for hope. Now, we've seen a small handful of the real-life, simple solutions that are already here. And we know cities are working to make these changes and give us that hope for the future. I'm Carl Nasman, and this has been Future Earth.